Okay, you've heard about Trump has got this tax plan. He's going to release. It's a corporate tax rate cut from 15 to 35%. He's planning on releasing this thing on Wednesday. You hear a screeching sound of car tires? Do you hear a big bang of a collision? Boom! Crash! That's because they're running around in Washington right now like they don't know what they're doing. Because they're trying to get this thing through by Wednesday so that they can announce it, of a 15% corporate tax rate cut. They're trying to get it. They're trying to push it through, but they're running into a big problem here. The problem is something called reconciliation. Now, they have a thing here where they cannot, if the bill adds to the deficit after 10 years, right, they can't get it passed. And this is called reconciliation. And let me read to you a little bit about this right here. President Donald Trump is scheduled to unveil his broad principles for tax reform on Wednesday, according to the Wall Street Journal. The announcement is expected to include a 15% corporate tax rate cut that Trump proposed during his campaign. The Tax Policy Center estimates that the move would reduce federal revenues by more than $2.4 trillion. So they're going to have $2.4 trillion less revenue coming in. They say, I don't know if he can get away with it, Senator Orrin Hatch said. They told reporters on Monday. Republicans have been planning to use a parliamentary process known as reconciliation to pass the tax reform bill without support from the Democrats. And so they're planning on trying to bypass the Democrats, but they cannot use the maneuver if the bill adds to the deficit after 10 years. And so they're trying to prove that it won't add to the deficit after 10 years. But it's kind of hard to prove that because it will add to the deficit after 10 years. But I think, my personal opinion is I think they should go through with it anyway because it will stimulate the economy. Just how much it'll stimulate the economy has yet to be seen. But Trump is saying it'll stimulate the economy as high as 6%. The Congressional Budget Offices have estimates that over the next decade it could range between 3 and 4%. It says, though, this is unlikely to be enough to offset such a dramatic reduction in the corporate tax rate, analysts say. Well, what do analysts know? They're always wrong. Okay, so to comply with the rules around reconciliation, the White House could make tax cuts temporary, letting them expire after 10 years in order to avoid increasing the deficit in the long term. However, House Speaker Paul Ryan's office threw cold water on that idea. Senior aide pointed out that simply cutting the corporate rate without changing other parts of the tax code would allow businesses to carry forward tax credits that could be used a decade later, ultimately adding to the deficit anyway. So, what we have here is we have a big fight going on, trying to push to get this thing through by Wednesday to see if they can get this this big tax cut in place by Wednesday. A 15 to a 35% tax rate cut for the corporate tax rate. And we'll have to wait and see what they can do. See if they can actually get it in place by Wednesday. But don't just sit there and say, okay, it's coming Wednesday. Because this thing has not been pushed through yet. There's an old saying that they used to have in the old days. It's called many a slip twixt cup and lip. And what that saying means is, it means that when a guy's picking up his cup of tea like this, okay, the guy's picking up his cup of tea like this, and he's bringing it to his lip like this, and all of a sudden, blah, 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 and it's all over his lap. The tea's all over the place, right? And many a slip between the cup and the lip. In other words, you think you got it, and you got it right here, you're bringing it to your mouth, and bing, you slip and it's all over the place. And so this tax cut is not in place until it's in place. Don't count, another old saying, don't count your chickens before they've hatched. In other words, you count all these eggs counted, and you think, okay, I'm going to get chicken for each egg, and then all of a sudden the eggs all go bad or whatever. So these are old sayings that they used to say. So some of you oldsters out there might remember some of these old sayings. Anyway, so don't count on this tax rate cut coming in until it's come in. When he announces it, then you can count on it. So thank you very much for listening. Like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next article. Bye.